LaKeith, I understand you used Google searches to help you break into acting.
Yeah, I did. I just got out of high school trying to figure out what I want to do. And, well, I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to act in some capacity. So I started really just Googling acting schools, acting stuff, anything that encompassed acting, trying to find a sort of channel in. And so I just Googled everything, and pages and pages of things popped up, and I just filled everything out. And then eventually, people started answering. And a lot of those were scams and things that I would ultimately end up wasting my time on. And so I ended up going back and forth from LA to Victorville, scrambling up change. And one time, it was a school for modeling and career center, modeling career center. And so they had us get up on the runway, taught us to walk the runway, and taught us all the names of the brands, like Fendi, Gucci, Prada, all these different things that would be of no use to me, really. But at the time, I realized every other week they had agents come in for the people that wanted to aspire to get into acting. So I wanted to get in front of one of these agents. And when one of those agents came through, I said, I want to go in. This is audition day. It was like every Thursday or something like that. And they said, well, do you have anything prepared? I said, yes. I didn't, but I went in anyway. And I just did the first thing that came to my mind, which was basically just to jump up on the chair and be like, totally did it in a minute, and do some random stuff. And the guy saw something in me that he liked. What, I don't know. And he signed me to his commercial agency. From there, I began to do auditions and fail and learn what it meant to be rejected, but be in the room and sort of build my comfortability over time. So it would prove to be a very important chapter, although at the time I just thought it was like I was wasting my time, but it proved to be very important once I got out there and really started auditioning. I felt comfortable because I had been rejected and I'd been through all of it already, so there's nothing left to fear. So yeah, that was what came of the internet.
And I understand you didn't have a car while you were in Victorville?
No.
And from what I know, I don't think the bus really runs. Does it run to
No,
LA?
there's a train that goes. You got to scramble up some change and take the train.
Okay, but that's it sounds like it's several stops. So how are you going on auditions and or even to this modeling class school and then coming back? I mean, that sounds like a lot.
Half of it was just trying to hustle up money to get down and get up on the train. And some of it was my parents. They would help me every now and again and take me whenever, whenever my bugging them sort of hit its brain, like, fine, fucking go again, for what? Because when you're auditioning and you begin, you don't realize how much rejection's involved in it. So you get rejected 20, 30 times, you're like, what am I still doing this for? Obviously it's not gonna work. And it was so much work for us to get down there that they were just like, this is becoming more of an expense than anything. And so I had to figure out ways to get down there on my own after a while, And I missed a lot of auditions because I couldn't make it, but and that sucked. That was a hard time because I hated missing them. I'd rather get rejected than to miss it,
Right. What's your advice for another actor that maybe they don't have the formal training, but they know they really want to do this? What would you advise them? What would they be Googling?
I don't know. Now there was probably 900 pages when I Googled. It's probably 9 million now. So there's much more to weed from, much more opportunity to get caught up in different things. I would say stay in school, stay diligent, go through high school, go through college, and try to look through opportunities after having sort of learned all you can learn, and situate yourself and be comfortable before you get into acting. Know that there's something else that you could be doing. Know that you have a backup plan, because it's a very difficult, tough game to get into. And it's tough to maintain even once you're in. So it's not like just because you book something means you're gonna be working forever. So you have to always keep that hustle up and continue to look for new avenues. And know that if this doesn't work, I got something else in the back. If that don't work, I got something else. Have other alternatives as well. And don't focus all your energy on acting would be my thing.
Did you ever feel pushback from people, from even other actors that maybe they were classically trained and they saw you booking more work and they were like, well, you didn't try this technique, and so you could feel that maybe it wasn't even spoken, but
oh yeah, totally, yeah, it wasn't spoken and was spoken in certain parts, but everybody's got their particular route, but the thing I think is important to be an actor is always keep an open mind, always be willing to learn, and don't reach a point where you feel like I've learned enough and now I don't need to know anything else, because your talent will take you so far, but you need to be constantly trying to develop skills and learning how to access these characters and analyze these stories and tell them in the most authentic light. And while your talent will take you a long way, it won't take you to the heights that you want to go, because there's a cap, a moment where you're like, well, this is just my talent. So you need to constantly stretch yourself, travel, meet new people, engage in new experiences fearlessly, and sort of download that information into sort of creating what you want to create. Every role is different. So what may work for one role may not work for another, and vice versa. Sometimes your talent will be great for a certain role, and then for another role you have to reach outside the sort of boundaries of your natural talent in order to tap into it. Those are things that I find the most rewarding and the most difficult. And they cause me to have to get studious and learn all these things, and get into these different lifestyles and understanding. So always keep an open mind, and I think you can explore and do whatever you need to do. And remember, this game is not a competition. It seems like a competition, but it's not. The only person you're in competition with is yourself. And if you think you can't do a certain thing, you can't. If you think you can, you can. You just got to push yourself, I think.
Have there ever been roles that you don't want to take for whatever reason? You don't believe in the project, or there's something about the character you just wouldn't feel good about playing?
Totally, yeah. Characters are realizations from people's imaginations. So naturally, some are going to fit with your imagination and some aren't. And some are based off of real people and are accurate depictions, and some aren't. So you have to use discernment and figure out what speaks to you, what's real to you, and everything's not going to be. I think when you first start acting, you're going to take anything that comes at you because you're trying to work it. That's understandable. That's what I did. That's what I think most actors did when they first started out, because you need to work. It is a job. But at the same time, once you start to develop your craft, and you can sort of weed out what speaks to you and what's important, because it's also important to do things that correlate with your frequency, that go with how you're attempting to move. Because if it doesn't, you're portraying something that isn't genuine. And then your performance is good. People are going to see it and be like, there's something that isn't genuine about that. So just make sure it connects to you. This is why it's important, I think, to expand your horizons and awareness, so that way more things have the ability to sort of click with you. Because the more broad your horizon is, the more chance you'll be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. Rather than living in a sort of vacuum, and then something coming into your awareness, you're like, that's too foreign, I don't know what that is, And never judge the characters. That's what I say.
What did Colin teach you about life?
Colin Stark? No, Colin Warner. Playing him in this movie. He taught me to he sort of re-established the idea to persevere, and in the face of insurmountable odds, continue to push forward, and remain steadfast in what you believe in. And the more you do that, the more you may realize what it was you were attempting to realize, or break the chains of whatever chains that are on. There are physical chains, psychological chains. Stay the course, and you can eventually break them.
Did you feel pressure playing someone that was still alive, that you knew the film would mean very much to them?
To an extent, yeah. I think that was lulled by just a great team that I was around. Colin himself being involved in it helped a lot. It made me feel that he's with us in this, so I'm at ease. He believes in the story, he believes in our ability, so we're just going to move forward in the spirit of that. Also, being blessed by his family. He took me in his house, and they blessed me at this little I guess they had like a shrine thing where they blessed me, and so I felt I got the spirit running through me, so just went from there.